Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today we're going to be following the new 6 Mango starting item build that players are starting to go. This is what OG Taiga went in his recent Snapfire match. He absolutely dominated this game, going 7-3 with 22 assists. Absolutely ridiculous. Popped off this match, had insane item timings, was the highest net worth support by far. And so we're going to break down his gameplay so you guys can implement the same strategies and buy 6 mangoes. By the way guys, if you want to become absolutely broken, well, what you need to do is sign up to the GameLeap website down below right now. The reason why you should do that is because every single day we post a new video there. Content that you simply just will never get on YouTube, we post every single day to the website. It's really top tier stuff. I'm very proud of what I make over there. We also have other creators, many of my great friends who are top tier Dota players, creating guides about different heroes, different roles, different items, skill builds, talent builds, everything you need to know to get to the next rank. So if you feel a little bit lost, you're a little bit stuck, click the link down below. I'll see you guys there. And now let's get into the video. So the first thing I want to talk about with Taiga's gameplay is the fact that he actually takes Scatter Blast to level 1 and then just trades with the position 5. I actually feel like he definitely over-traded with Kuroki here. However, the thing is, the reason why this might be viable, the reason why it might actually be logical for Taiga to just completely trade with Kuroki here is because of the mangoes, right? Otherwise, he actually almost dies. In fact, I'm even a little bit surprised he didn't die here. I guess it's because Snapfire is just such a fast hero. You can see the entire time he's getting chased, with the Tango active, he has 9.7 regen. So he's essentially healing the same amount that Kuroki is hitting him for, which is quite hilarious. And I think that's the value behind this build. Because of how much sustain it gives you, what you want to do is essentially isolate the position 4 and position 5 matchup and give your offlaner and safe laner a 1v1. This is particularly good when you don't necessarily want your offlaner to get pressured by 2 heroes. For instance, a Slark can hit a Centaur if a Centaur is stunned. But Slark can't hit Centaur if Centaur isn't stunned, because then Centaur will just stun the Slark in the creep wave, and it won't be a very good trade for Slark. And so yeah, Taiga's job of isolating the line here seems very good to me. The next thing to note about Taiga's gameplay is that he actually instantly ships out 6 tangos. It's a lot of tangos. I mean, I think he started with only 3, but then instantly ships out 6 more. So his concept of the lane is very clear. He also will be able to give tangos to the Centaur a little bit later on to the lane. Funny enough, Centaur also bought a ton of tangos, so apparently this is just the meta now, and it's at least for OG in a lane like this. And what I mean by that is Slark line is a lane that heavily relies on poking you down. It's very uncommon that they're going to kill you full to nothing unless they manage to find Taiga isolated in the side of the lane. Then of course they could hex him into a stun with a Slark follow-up. But as long as Amar and Taiga, the Snapfire and the Centaur, are together, that's very unlikely to happen. As you can see, he gets caught out in this clip. That's what I was talking about. For the most part, Kuroki and ILTW have to chip them down, so I kind of like the tangos. So the next thing that I want to discuss is what Taiga does actually around the mid game. So we're 16 minutes into the game here, and Taiga is actually just going to be sitting mid for the most part. In fact, he almost TP'd top, but he decided to cancel it as he realized the kill wasn't going to happen. The reason why I think this is important is because in pubs, a lot of the time what happens is that your cores will farm top, they'll farm bottom, and they'll farm their jungle. And very often the only farm that will be on the map is mid lane. Now, of course, this depends on your bracket, it depends on the game, what heroes you have, and just, you know, a bunch of random circumstances. But in general, you just want to consider mid as a relatively dangerous lane once the game progresses. The reason for that is very simple. In Dota, people naturally progress towards mid. Wherever they are, they're basically closest to mid besides their exact location, right? For instance, if an enemy is bottom, they're never going to be able to walk to top. Right? They're not going to be able to collapse on top very quickly, besides with mass TPs. However, the thing about mass TPs is, you know, if you TP multiple heroes to the same tower, every single subsequent TP is longer, right? So if you TP Puck, then Bane, then Lion, it will be a 3-second TP, then 4, then 5. That's not the exact numbers, but you get the point. So essentially a hero like Snapfire, when he maxes out Q and W, is really good at Wave Shove. It's actually one of the best heroes in the game at Wave Shove. He can do it from an absurdly safe range. And so that's what he does for a huge portion of the game. I also love his skill build this game. Even though his team already has plenty of Wave Shove, Centaur, Void Spirit, Razor, they're all decent wave shove heroes. Razor's not great, but it's okay. Because he already has all these wave shove heroes, you might be like wondering why he's doing it. Well, I think there's a couple of reasons. Number one, it's really good against the enemy team comp. I love the nuke build against Slark in particular. Being able to have 3 AoE nukes is just so potent against Slark in the early game. And the second thing to mention is that they just can't Roshan. Physical damage is not the priority for OG's team comp until Razor builds up a bunch of items. Mostly his refresher orb later into the game when he gets 2 ultis, then maybe you could play a bit of around, minus armor. But until then, you're not going to be prioritizing Roshan with Razor Void Spirit Centaur. It's not undoable, but it's pretty close to unkillable. Now let's take a look at a teamfight or two where he has his Yule's timing. So at this point in the game, Taiga is very farm, right? If we look at the net worth, he is 1,000 gold above the line. He's having a very good game, so he has this Yule's. The main purpose behind Yule's, in my opinion, this game is number one, it's very good against kiting out Slark initiation, right? You can't use the Slark when he's dark pacting, but it's also very good at messing with Puck as well. If you use Puck when Puck orbs, he actually will just be stuck in place because the orb will tick out, as long as you didn't use him right away. You have to use him like about a second and a half after he casts orb. But as the fight breaks out, you usually want to do one of two things. You either just, basically use ult, that's if your teammate goes in and stuns. This is obviously the perfect example. 6 stun from Amar here, literally 2-man stun onto maybe the best 2 heroes he could find. So this is a very clear opportunity just to drop the ulti, and that's exactly what he does. Drops it, instantly kills Bane, instantly kills Lion. Perfect opportunity. However, if they were going for a single target pickoff onto a hero with a BKB that they couldn't necessarily burst with Snap ulti, then he'd be better off going with Cookie and playing around that. So very simple fight execution. A lot of Snapfire's fights look like that, and that is why when you play Snapfire, you kind of need to have this frontline initiating hero. You generally want a Mars, you generally want a Centaur, a Slardar. Well, Slardar's not the best example because he doesn't disable for that long sometimes. Depends on what items they have, but you want like hard stuns optimally so that your ulti really can connect. Skipping ahead to the 20-minute mark here, Taiga is gonna get a solo kill onto the Kuroki Lion. Basically only with his ulti. It's insane once again how much damage this spell actually does. I don't know the exact number, but 8 glob counts at 240 damage is about what? 1800 damage, something around there. And so yeah, as we'll see in this clip here, it's definitely more than enough to kill a lion. He was just kind of casually shoving the wave, hits a really nice cookie into Q, disengages, gets out of stun range, and then ultis. Perfect execution, really beautiful stuff. And the main reason why he's here, in my opinion, is not actually to kill Kuroki, because this isn't some very high value kill. In general, you don't want to put your priority when you're playing Snapfire on getting solo kills onto supports. While it's totally fine, especially if the game is very AFK and nothing is happening, this is fine. In fact, in this case, it's okay because otherwise Kuroki would have TP'd top into this following team fight. So it makes a lot of sense here. It's a great play. But the main reason why he was there was to simply cut the mid wave, to get farm and prevent the enemy from eventually taking this mid tier 1 tower, which if you guys know anything about Dota, you've been watching my videos, you know how important it is in terms of just overall map control for controlling smokes, controlling Roshan, your ability to TP around the map, set up smokes later on, right? Naturally playing around mid tier 1 is very, very nice. And to a large extent, it's somewhat hard to ward it because of the location. And so, yeah, it just works out very, very well. And over again, you'll see him doing this, just shoving mid-wave, shoving mid-wave, shoving mid-wave. It's definitely no surprise that it happens. Wow, good try on the Yule setup with the Void Spirit. Next up, we're going to see a relatively clean team fight. This wasn't perfect. Only there's a small portion of the fight where he almost got caught out, but to be fair, you could maybe say he was baiting. Either way, as we go in here, Taiga, he's going to disengage, okay? Sees Doom BKB pop. This is a huge opportunity just to drop your ulti. Anytime you see that BKB is used, it's essentially screaming for you to ulti, especially when something like Shadow Demon ulti is already on them. Unfortunately, ILTW's Shadow Dance here, or whatever it's called, Shadow Cloud, the Slark Shard, saves the Doom, but it would have been the right call and nearly kills off the Doom. Following that up, he uses the Puck, which I thought was a really nice play here, because otherwise what Nigma could have done is gotten a very clean coil onto the Centaur, prevent Centaur from disengaging, get the Centaur kill, and then go back to farming the waves. However, because of this Yules, they weren't able to do that. They have to chase significantly further. And if you guys know anything about Dota, remember anything about Dota, the further the enemy team chases, the worse, right? Because there's a couple of reasons. Number one, they're all going to walk into vision, so you're always going to know where they are. Doesn't guarantee you the fight, but it matters. And most importantly, they're going to split up, right? They're going to split up. So Miracle is going to dive very deep here. He doesn't have the best of follow-up. It's not bad, right? It's not bad, but it's not the best of follow-up. In fact, Taiga ends up missing a cookie here, you know, relatively decent attempt, but fortunately for him, he's able to get saved by the Shadow Demon in a moment here. So as he gets saved by the Shadow Demon, he's gonna get stunned once again. Fight's gonna continue on. Mind Control has to kite out on the Doom. He's gotta reset, and he has a lot of patience, right? He waits, completely waits for the Slark Q to get bursted here, or wasted, then goes for the cookie. Cookie connects on 2 and guarantees a beautiful double kill as he hits a 2-man scatter blast here, follows it up with some minus armor onto the Bane, wakes up the Centaur. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. A ridiculously clean kill from the Snapfire here. Even tried to Yule's dodge the Lion stun. Oh man, he's trying to pop off right now. He's showing off a little bit, but a sick team fight from Taiga. Next up is just an overall sick map movement read from the entirety of OG. I thought they did an incredible job here of just kind of reading the movements of Nigma Galaxy and then subsequently following it up and completely shutting off this Slark, preventing him from going anywhere. So, as we'll see, the Centaur TP'd bottom. As the Centaur TP'd bottom, you have to see a little bit further back, so let me skip back a little bit here. Doom was pushing in bottom. They have this really deep ward, which is honestly a very cool ward. This one right here on the hill. This is a very cool ward to have defensively at the 28-minute mark when you're not even playing that area of the map. It's also a very fresh ward, so this was clearly premeditated and pre-planned by OG, which is very cool, very advanced stuff right there. So they TP the Centaur bottom with this ward, and what that shows me, as he shows on this, I think he shows on the second creep wave, oh no he doesn't. What this shows me is that they were actually planning on fighting around this ward in general. Seemingly what their goal was to send Yuragi top, shove in the top wave, and then bait bottom. And when they see Nigma in a moment here sort of start to push up and push around, they're able to cut them off. So once again, let me show you what I mean by they see them push up and around. So you see the Puck cut mid, Puck goes to the right, right? You see Doom go up, you see the Slark shift into here and look to farm this camp. This immediately tells you, and Puck even walks into this area. This tells you for a fact that OG is looking to play in this area. Funny enough, they didn't really show on the wards again, at least not until they end up fighting them. But it doesn't really matter, you know they're here. So what does Taiga do? He has a lot of patience. Very important, right? They don't know if this hill is warded. First thing they do, they check the hill. They don't want to, right? They don't want to be seen by Nigma. They don't want to be jumped, right? Especially against Nigma's team comp. Lion, Bane, Doom. Not so fun if you get jumped. You're not really going to get a lot of spells off. So they have to be very, very careful. On top of that, there's Slark's night vision. If Taiga goes too early and Slark spots him, the whole gank is off. So he's pinging, they're slowly walking up, they end up catching the Slark here, they get vision of him. Taiga kind of does the cycle blink in, probably not the best play. I think he was trying to Yule's the Puck for the setup from the Void Spirit, that was definitely the idea there. But either way, he was able to get in front of the Slark, and funny enough, his Shard was able to bump him back and get the kill. Very convenient, but nonetheless, all planned. Well, not literally all planned, all right? Hey, let's be real, Taiga probably wasn't trying to bump back the Slark. Like, I don't think he started that fight with the idea that, hey, I'm gonna bump back Slark, but either way, they were in position, ready to make something like that happen, and that's exactly what happened. All right, and for one of the last clips of the game that at least I want to cover is this cookie. Was this intentional? What was this? So they glyphed the wave, they punched back the Slark. The melee creep turned literally at the last second? Literally at the last second, the melee creep turns to hit the other melee creeps, and that stuns Slark. Like, what? That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. What in the... Okay, that was not intentional. That was lucky as shit. And finally, let's get into our last fight of the game. Love his itemization, by the way, here. I think it's basically perfect. I mean, I personally would probably go about the same item build. But this is... How do you even say this item's name? Aztec? It's not a... It looks like aesthetic. Like, I want to say aesthetic cap. But it's like aesthetic? Aesthetics cap. But basically, it gives you 40% status resist for 3 seconds when a debuff would be applied on you. It's obviously very good this game against, you know, so much debuff and long duration stuns. Very, very nice item here. So super good itemization. Love the Lotus. Same reason, honestly. Bane, Lion, Doom. Even the Puck silence largely. So it's just such a great game for the Lotus. And the enemy team is honestly mostly physical when Slark comes online. So yeah, just perfect itemization here. That's going to be about the end of the game. I think Nigma calls GG after a little bit of a skirmish here. They give it one last hurrah when Kuroki's respawning, but OG gives them very little respect here. They kind of just walk up to the buildings, think OG goes in. Taiga gets initiated on, but he's got the Ascetics cap. Gets gone on. Really kind of just tanks the entirety initiation here. Ends up getting gone on by literally like 3 different heroes. And at this point in the game, when your team is this far ahead, that's more than good enough. Honestly, I even think that's like an advanced correct play in the regard where when you don't have your ulti, right? If he doesn't have his ulti, when you don't have your ulti, you're not very useful. And so getting gone on when you have 2700 HP and like, 27 armor is actually very nice. In fact, probably the best possible play. But all right, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you learned a lot from this analysis. If you did, smash the like button and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
And that's all, but remember, before you leave, come on, before you tune out, subscribe to the GameLeap website where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace.